experiment was about tasting and smelling. Tasting has been studied. It has been discovered that smelling and tasting are combined to create taste so that you can identify what a food is. And the tongue can taste is also part of tasting, and you can taste bitterness, sweetness, and sourness. The problem or purpose was to determine if smelling or tasting is the best method for identifying substances. The purpose is to also test if a certain age or a certain sex is better at doing either one.
Talk to me about your literature review, please. Shh.
In my literature,
What are some of the questions you researched and yeah.
the questions that I answered were how smelling is done and how tasting is done.
Can you explain, is that true or not? What did you learn about it?
Oh, I learned that smelling is important for tasting because if you can't smell, like if you cover your nose, you can't taste as well. You can only taste if it's like sweet or bitter.
And what careers could this be tied into?
Probably like for those people that make ice cream companies, they have to freeze it at a certain temperature, and they could taste it so that people would want to buy it.
Okay, feel really true about that. I would say candy probably as well too, just because of its cooking, and maybe any food.
Yeah.
Did you read about any industries that uses this kind of data? I'm thinking maybe wine companies.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people with the wine, they'll sniff it and then they'll drink it, and the smell is very different from the taste. Talk to me about what your hypothesis was. What did you think was going to happen ahead of time?
My hypothesis was that if smelling is needed in order to be able to taste, then smelling will be the method that participants will be able to identify foods with the most, because smell relies on taste.
Did you prove your hypothesis true or false?
It was actually kind of false because only the boys that got perfect scores resulted in being able to smell foods better, and the girls were able to taste and smell equally.
And did you find background data on the male versus female tasting and smelling?
I did find a little bit that said that there wouldn't really be a difference.
Okay. So that surprised you about your evidence, okay?
Yeah.
Great. Can you explain what you did? Walk me through what a procedure would look like if I were one of your test subjects.
Well, the first thing would you have to get all your materials, and I measured 36 milliliters of each substance, and I put them in baggies, and so I had 4 baggies because there was 4 different substances. And then I created a data table so that I could see so I could create data during my experiment. And I gathered 6 participants from each age group when I was going to do the experiment. And then I told them to close their eyes. Then he or she then test them by taking out 4 baggies with the substance in each. The participant had to smell the substance first, and then they had to cover their nose, and then they had to only taste it. And then the third thing was that they had to do both normally.
What are some things you would have changed if you were to redo this whole experiment?
I would have probably gotten a blindfold because I'm feeling that some of them wanted to cheat.
Okay. Good. Anything else?
Probably the substances, maybe, just to make
Talk
it
to me
more
more about that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe more variety of substances.
Okay. Such as?
Like maybe 2 sweets and 2 sour, like more of...
Got it. More variety.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Talk to me about your conclusions. What did you learn from this, and what do you conclude from the data, and were there any trends that you saw in your data?
Well, I actually saw that in 10th grade, the girls that got perfect scores were both 2 of them, 2 in the 10th grade and 2 10th grade girls and 10th grade boys. And the boys were able to smell. They got perfect scores more by smelling than by tasting. And then girls, if you add up all the bars for a grade, they all got 6 for smelling, and 6 girls got perfect scores for smelling, and 6 girls got perfect scores for tasting.
So what is your conclusion based on that data?
So I would conclude that the girls were able to smell and taste equally efficient to be able to taste the foods.
And the boys?
And the boys were able to smell better than tasting.
Interesting. Talk to me about your control group, or did you have one?
The control group, well, I guess that my control group was doing both smelling and tasting.
Mm-hmm. At the same time?
Yeah.
And what did you figure out from that?
Well, everybody got perfect scores on that one.
Good. Awesome. Can you show me, please, your research paper with the citations, please? You got your notebook there, too? Can you see your notebook? Awesome. And your data collections in there?
Yeah. And the citations are...
Thank you. And the citation, just open to that page, please.
I posted them on the thing.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm excited. Excellent. Okay, and if you were to have another month to do this project, what would you do differently? If you were to redo the whole project, what would you do differently? Besides the different tastes of things, is there anything else? Would you do more or less? Would you change where you did the project, how you did the project? What are some changes you might make?
I think I would have gotten more participants so that I could test more targeted people.
Okay.
And probably...
All right, cool. You're good to go. Thank you very much.